approval request for a conditional use permit to locate a cigar bar and lounge in 306 to 308 Washington Avenue, Zone 3C3. Planning Commission recommend approval.
Question.
Yes.
So we're routinely approving cigar bar, daiquiri bar, cocktail bar. Is there a difference? I mean,
No.
what?
Not really, there are bars allowed.
I just caution council regarding bar development design, particularly for our downtown area, talked about for years. Opposed to it. I just think that we should have a little more input and planning regarding the approval of multiple.
Yes, sir.
Bars allowed.
This particular one, of course, you know, we approved one some years ago that did not have to get up to ground. So we approved one. So I think this has come to light, with a particular developer and investor who's made the purchase the property, and it's ready to homegrown, born and raised here as well, to do some things, downtown. So,
No question.
So moved.
we got a motion, hold on, do we have a second? We have a second.
Where's 306 and
It's right
308?
on the corner. Across from the courthouse there, where. And the liquor store,
Yeah, Lutho's is burned down. Luther good burned down.
not only developed, they purchased it and moved forward and created something that
So they're gonna build something there?
For the
it's there.
little buildings that used to be,
Yeah.
they go red.
Oh, next door to.
Yeah.
Barber shop, Jim's Cafe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a good spot. Second. All right. Now, no question, Councilman Brown.
So with the bar, they have to obtain a liquor license.
Yes, sir.
So with a liquor license, I understand that they have to do a certain level of foods.
Yes, 25% of the sales has to be food.
If someone here represents.
Yes, Mr. McBain is here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Hello, Mr. McBain.
So that was my face of my question.
Yes, sir.
Food and what's the thing regarding permitting and design and application and all for that option, develop that.
Well, they've already submitted plans. They were ready to get to work.
Yes.
But we could not approve a permit for them to get to work until they actually was approved to use it as a garden. So they're ready to work.
And I can answer that, but I had one. He has to submit into the state. Carolyn don't do that. So if the state mandates, you gotta do 25%, you fill out all do your background check, then you get back.
Yes, if he's going to cook, if they're going to cook, the grease trap will be required. What size of the grease trap, Mr. Vernon and the fire department will make that determination.
Got a motion second. Yes, sir, quick, Councilman.
Chief, Brown, you okay with? Are you familiar with it? You okay with it?
Location right across from,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
No.
Chief, and we need,
Oh, right there, Jim's Cafe.
Right.
we need to hear from these chiefs before we approve these things, because something came up a few weeks ago. The the chief should have been involved in, both of them should have been involved in it. That I don't think that they would, or they may have been, but they wouldn't. But anyway, Chief, Turner, what you got? How you doing?
It's for us, it's one thing to open up an establishment under the pretense of one, but to start operating out under something else.
Right.
And so what we see happening is that it falls on us in trying to dealing with manpower and actually security these people. Some people, they come under the pretense of opening under cigar lounge or, this, that, and other, but then we find out that they're a full-fledged nightclub. And, when we find that out, we're gonna have to shut them down. So if anybody is coming to the city asking for permission to open up for a specific thing, stay within the confines of what you're opening for. Because it's very daunting to be involved at the tail end when you find out that it's not what you it up for. So I think that some kind of way, myself, Chief Brown, may need to be involved in even the approving of these establishments, going and making sure that, things are done in the proper manner. So
But when the issues come before the planning commission, the fire department is in attendance at that particular time. In the past, and then we were giving these requests to the police department and the fire department, but we received no response. Now, to clarify the difference between a lounge and a nightclub, I consider those the same type of business. I think our zoning ordinance addresses nightclub, and we've kind of increased the language and made it out of a lounge, but a lounge, as far as our definition, is a nightclub. So maybe there's something we need to clarify in the ordinance to get with the police chief on that.
Councilwoman.
So are we saying that there could possibly very well be a nightclub there? Cause I see cigar bar and lounge. So are we giving them the authorization to have a nightclub?
Consider it as a nightclub. And if it's a
So
nightclub,
we're talking about liquor license and all, as you were stating.
Yes, and I think under our zoning ordinance, and what the planning commission does based on our structure, they have approved based on the request under the C3 zoning, what it is. And we need to move forward. I don't think we can even not move forward insofar as it fits under what the current C3 is. It's not R1, it ain't industrial, it's C3. And the particular investor has asked for, well, I mean, under condition used to be C3. And so with that, that's why they adopted it. Now, the other safety mechanisms, all of that, I think that can happen after this approval. But in talking with the developers and investors, this will be upscale, something that is absolutely different than what I think we are thinking about a regular nightclub. This is upscale, something that will be right downtown, that gets another option and smart growth strategy. What Rock is saying for folks who want to patronize. that
I'm just trying to figure out, my husband's a cigar smoker. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I'm getting down there. Just saying that. I'm trying to figure out.
But he can't go to the nightclub.
That's what, I do understand where the chief is coming from.
Yeah.
We have been given some false information on some of these lounges, nightclubs, cigar bars and things of that nature that we do need to address.
And Chief mentioned this last week,
Yes.
and Chief has full reign and his authority and discretion for police to do what he needs to do, particularly if establishments are operating that don't have the ABC license, don't have the food. And so Chief and I had that conversation, so let this be a warning to folks who are operating without those various licenses, because you will get shut down. I know Chief them has done a good Chief, right? I know they have been going around putting stuff on doors as well, saying, look, you're not operating within the confines of what the grant will count.
And doing a fire inspection and approval. What we do, we also, fire department go in and we, edit the square footage and get our options. And see how many exits that, if you can't count the rear door, that's an exit. That's a kitchen or a spot. If you only have one door and so many square feet, it's only gonna be, for the most part, 29. It just really depends on the square footage, how many exits. In the back world, out in the lower tier.
All right, got a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's a comment. I mean, these are a lot of difficult questions. We don't want to act that you're making an investment in that, so we do appreciate that.
And ladies come. Ladies be down there, look for them, I'm coming.
They both.
And they're coming to my husband come down there.
Mayor, Council, the chief, we also have another concern as far as clarifying when these businesses need to close. So that's another issue that he wants us to meet on.
Yes,
Okay?
that's right. And Chief did make mention of that last week as well.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Chief.
Thank you, Chief. I think these issues that they put charge on.
Yeah, I think the statute says to, I think they need some assistance, and I guess Charter North of Public Safety, so we can be clear on for these establishments to understand that this is the closing time. You know, so, this is the chief, fire chief too. So, council consider hearing from Mr. Charles Brady regarding safety concerns at upcoming Greenville High School. It has homecoming event, coach. No. Which I thought, when you all with, I thought.
No, sir.
Oh, okay, gotcha, because I thought it was school district, okay, yes, sir.
Thank y'all for having me. It's one of the few times that I've ever been on the agenda, which is interesting. I come though with something that's quite serious. I remember the young lady last tailgate. I don't know if it's connected or not. But that young lady down by the Elks. And I remember her words. Don't let me down. She died out there. So my concerns are simple. And I understand and I believe that she's done. But I do know one thing. You cannot control the mob, especially cannot control the mob with weapons. If that get out of hand, your best case scenario is to hope it play out and capture casualties. That's the truth. The next thing is that where are these participants coming from? But you got a lot of people who got beef, and some of that beef ties right here to Greenville. We got kids who right now have beef with other kids in other communities. I also asked the question because I remember when it first came up, where's the money going? Where's all this money, supposedly money going? And all money ain't good money. You have to decide that. And you don't want to be the one who has to give a hard no. The community needs something to look up to. We've had enough shortcuts. If Chief can say, I can 100% guarantee no one will be hurt, be lost. That means the Chief got to hold it for some spirit or something. So I don't think nobody can say that. But if there's 1 ounce of possibility that someone could get hurt, then I ask you, as the authority here, to say no. And no in and of itself is an essay, a book, and everything else you want it to be. And I know how it works because sometimes we have had to say no. And I believe that that land that they party on, that belongs to the school system. If I'm not mistaken, I think that land belongs to the city. So guys, that's not happening. I've never been to one. You ain't got to worry about me showing up. But I don't want to get shot at double quick trying to get a chicken sandwich. So I don't want to do that. And I don't think anybody else should have to do it. So please, before they go with that, know for yourself that it is safe. And no one stands the possibility of saying what their young lady said. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Appreciate, Mr. Brady, for those remarks. Number 6, council considered hearing from Attorney Eric Hawkins and others regarding the state of the Greenville Public School District. So I know you have a number of folks with you, Attorney Hawkins. They all want to be recognized for the record and you believe it.
Yes. To the Honorable Mayor, and members of the council, let me start by saying you all giving us the opportunity to discuss this matter with y'all. Accompanying me is Reverend Pastor Freddie Hall, who is a minister here, of course, business owner as well. So is Mr. Malcolm Jackson, who's also a local business person here as well, and I believe also involved in the ministry as well. We wanted to come to you, very brief, I'm not gonna take a lot of you guys' time, we wanted to discuss this issue involving public schools. I got, and I'm sure you guys have all seen the state assessments now in terms of where we are. And, I make a point to always look at that each year whenever it comes out. I always look at that. And of course, when I saw it this time, it was very disturbing for me. Very disturbing for me. And I happened to start talking with colleagues and people in the community, and I found out I wasn't the only person who's disturbed by this. In fact, most of us who have seen this and reviewed this are very disturbed by this. And so what we decided to do was we said we want to come before the council. We understand that the school board operates as a separate entity. We understand that. But we also understand that you guys are the ones that appoint school board members. And I believe that if you appoint someone, certainly you have the right to demand some level of accountability. I'm here to say today, look, we're not here. We're not here to point blame at anybody. Because it's our opinion, it's our view, and I'm sure they'll second this, is that anytime you have a school system that is failing, it is a collective failure. And my only issue is, our issue is how we want to find out, how did we get here? I don't believe one person is the cause of us getting here. I don't think 1 year is the cause of us getting here. This is something I think that has been brewing for quite some time. I think now, though, we have a right, as concerned citizens of this community, to demand an explanation. We have a right, we think, to demand accountability. A school system that has F is simply not acceptable. And when you go through this list, I mean, you're talking about Mattie Aiken C, M Boyd and F, Webb a D, Greenville High School a C, TL Western F, Coleman an F. Ladies and gentlemen of this board, this is simply not acceptable. In my opinion, this is simply not acceptable. And I don't have to tell you guys know better than me, that if we're gonna have a prosperous community, we have to have a prosperous, viable school system. There's just no way around it. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter if you are a graduate of a private school system, if your kids go to private school, even if they do, if your kids or grandkids go to a, you still have a vested interest in making sure that we have strong public schools. So what we wanted to suggest and propose, we understand that it's a different process involving the school board, but basically what we wanted to talk about is somehow being able to organize or put together a community-wide meeting that will include school board members, school administrators, principals, vice principals, teachers, parents, and students. We all have a collective interest in this, because if our system fails, then we fail as a community. And we just can't allow it. We cannot send a message to other parts of the state that we are an F. And I believe we're better than it. And we have examples where we're better. Now, I've looked at the results. The surrounding districts are not doing much better either. They're not doing that much better. I don't think a C is anything to brag about. C means average. I consider it somewhat mediocre. I don't see any reason why there's anything to brag about. But my friend and I, we talk about this all the time. I remember a young lady that just a couple of years ago graduated from Leland Public Schools. She is now studying at Yale University. Probably the only one in the history of any district around here to attend Yale, as far as I know. She's right out of Leland Public Schools. So I don't accept anybody telling me that we cannot do it. We have to have the will to do it. We have to have the determination to do it, and we've got to start demanding accountability. So what I want to see put together is a community-wide meeting where all of us have a vested interest in making sure that our kids are getting what they need. Because we hear a lot of different things. I'm hearing things about funding. I'm hearing things about kids not having textbooks. I'm hearing things about the lack of discipline. I'm hearing a lot of different things. So I just want to find out and have an explanation. What is going on? Where is your problem? And how can we be a part of that solution? So that's what I'm here to discuss with the board about, to see if there's a way that we can facilitate you guys helping us to put together a community-wide meeting to get the whole town involved and trying to make things happen in Jackson. I think Ms. Hall, you might want to say something as well.
Thirdly, we're proud. I graduated from high school in 1970, Coleman High School, the last graduating class of separate but equal. And back during that time, we were able academically to compete anywhere with anybody in this country. I was in the United States Navy and I excelled in it, and I hold 5 state licenses now. And most of these youngsters you talk to now, they hardly can read with comprehension. And so what we're saying here now is, and I saw some statistical data that said that we are number 8 as the worst city to live in the United States. And that's something to be considered. We're not going to track in the industry. We're not going to track anything with those kinds of statistics. And so what we're saying here today is, at our age, I'm on the upside of the mountain myself, you know, and so I have grandchildren, and I'm concerned about the community. I have 3 children that don't live in the state because they, you know, got their degrees and they could function in this environment because they wasn't getting the type of income. So what we're saying here today is that together, you all are our leaders, and as Attorney Hawkins just said, we didn't come in here to beat nobody down because this problem didn't happen overnight. This is an age-old problem, but at some point, some viable solution need to be composed that we can try to overcome this thing. And that's why we're here today. Like I say, it's not about the superintendents, the schools, the home, the church. All of us are involved, and all of us need some improvement. And I'll say that as a pastor, as a business person, as a parent, as a grandparent, that all of us have a role in this, and all of us have contributed, because neglect is the same thing as contributing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so, Jackson, you want to say anything? No, thank you. I appreciate you being here. We thank all of you all for your remarks. I was in a meeting with the superintendent today along with the state delegation, Representative Hand, Representative Davis, and the Assembly. The board president, Drew Newsom, along with some other leaders, including the chair, today. County Prosecutor Griffin was there. The superintendent stated, along with the board president, they have a plan. But I think a meeting of the minds is absolutely needed. And we need to move forward collectively with a solution like the city. Yes, please.
Now, I understand you indicate to me they have a plan, but
That
what, and that's,
was communicated.
okay, that was important. Because what we want to see as a community is we want this plan communicated to us and explained to us. You know, I think this is a situation that calls for all hands on deck.
Yes, sir.
And most people know me, I'm not a person given to, you know, histrionics and drama, but this is so serious to me that, you know, whatever it takes to upset the apple cart is what needs to be done. Because this is serious. This is akin to me to fighting to go into war. We're talking about a war over ignorance, a war over being miseducated, a war over being uneducated. We cannot tolerate this any longer. If I have to go out there one-man show, walking up and down these streets, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to turn this situation around. So what I'm going, you know, what I'm hopefully planning on doing is getting together with some of the members of the board and council and set together. I still want to set this community-wide meeting, because what we're asking for, Mayor, now is we want to demand answers. We got to have explanations. And we as a community, we want to see this plan and we want to see what you have going forward, because Ms. All can tell you, I've said it on many meetings, it's always been a plan, always been a plan. But, you know, what has got us here to this point? It's just not, I came from the same school system. We all did. And when I came from the school system, I left there being confident enough to know that I could compete with anybody, anywhere in, I didn't have any doubts about it. I had scholarships from University of California, scholarships from UCLA. I had a scholarship to Stanford. I had a scholarship to Boston University. I had scholarships to all places, full scholarships. I chose to stay and study in Mississippi. But, you know, but those opportunities were there for me. And I don't consider myself any smarter than any other kid coming through the school district. So somewhere this system is failing. And so we want to make sure that at some point, and we'll be sending out communications, that we put together a set time and date to have a community-wide meeting, because we plan to have answers. We're spending too much to not have our kids being educated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thomas and Councilman Brown.
That was my question, Attorney how soon are you planning, to put this together? So the general public and all of the parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles and cousins and whoever stakeholder within our community will have an opportunity to say when this meeting will be, and all vested interest people should be on all hands on deck.
I would think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 weeks, 30 days should be sufficient enough time to put that together.
2
I
weeks.
was- Yeah, in between 2 weeks, 30 days for sure, we ought to be able to put a meeting together that could involve everybody, set time, date, places, and all of that. Yes, sir.
Know you real well.
Yes, sir.
And so you know how I love this community.
Yes, sir.
What's disheartening to me, watching from outside, inside now, I mean, on the inside. We are trying, we've had chief and the sheriff, okay? We've had multiple public meetings. Guess who shows up? The ones that don't need it. Okay, they don't need it. Their kid is home at 9 o'clock. Their kid is home at 10 o'clock. So I blame the school system some, but I don't blame it all on the school system. It's hard for me, I put it in real simplistic for me. I was a coach, okay? If a daddy or a brother didn't ever throw a ball to a kid and I got him at 10 years old, it was tough for him to be on my team at 10, okay? So it's the same thing at home. We have to teach them how to read, but how do we get the ones that aren't coming to the meeting? That's what I want the ones that are coming, that are not coming to come, and then we can give this message, but we can't give the message to us. We're here for a reason. We do it.
I agree with you. And that's gonna be one of the, that's gonna be one of the key logistical things that we need to discuss. Is how do we get parents involved? Because you're right, absolutely, education starts in the home. It starts there, this breaks out, but it starts in the home. So we've got to, as a community, figure out how are we going to get these parents to realize that this is something serious at stake. This is not a joke, it's not time for a play party. Not knowing where your kids are, not having your kids running down the street all night, that your kids' very future in their lives depend upon them being able to receive a decent education. I agree with you. And that's gonna be one of our challenges, is to figure out how do we get enough educated people in the community to come here who need the services, who need their kids to be,
You can believe us on this. This group here is willing to help. And we're willing, I got some ideas too, but I mean, so when you have the meeting, please, let's all get together and let's move forward.
I'd like to share an experience though that I had with that very thing. A young boy lived a few blocks from me. One morning, I had left something at home and my wife asked me to go home and get it. And I took it back to the office. But when I got home, this young boy, 14 years old, was standing on the corner. I said, son, how come you're in school? He said, well, my mother did not wash my uniform. I said, well, son, you're big enough to take care of that. He said, I said, how many uniforms you think I got on? I said, where you get this going? So I come back. I went in the house, came back out, paperwork, got me myself. Took the dad's building, bought 2 uniforms. His mother came, brought, my wife called me and told me his mother brought the 2 uniforms back, upset with me because she said I was trying to embarrass her buying this thing. That same kid that's been 6 months later got killed over at Frisbee Park because he wasn't in school and he just got into those streets. And so we got serious conditions. And it does start in the home, you know. But I want to say this as a pastor, it's in the church as well because they're not coming to church. You follow? So none of us are reaching them. You follow? But some kind of way we got to get in the street.
I
And I
agree.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Yes, sir.
And, you know,
Yes, sir.
I've been in this business more than 40 years. Some folks have been having it. I tell you one thing, it's leadership. Leadership more than anything else. The meeting is a good idea. You're correct. But some people you're gonna need to see, you're not gonna see. I am correct. The key, I've asked over and over again. Brother Mayor, you gave me your word. I'm gonna hold you to that word. It starts with being able to elect school board members. That's not gonna fix it. It's a start. Because school board members, they are policy makers. they hire the superintendent. Superintendent in turn hires the other administrators, who in turn hire all of the teachers and everything else. Until you can develop a sense of integrity. With that board, you won't have this problem. So if my brother keeps his word, we're only in part one, but this is gonna have 3 or 4 phases. All right, you can meet any day you want to, it's nice, but this is gonna be in 3, 4, maybe 5 phases. And the first phase start with take a good picture, a good look at where you at right now. If you want your kids to continue to die in the streets because they're suffering from a ignorance, that will take place. But realize one thing, ignorance and violence does not stay in one place. One day you'll be at Walmart trying to get to your car.
You know, I watched the break sitting over while we do it, because that's deal. But you know, accountability. To go back, we had dealing with, I had dealing with Coach Brady, my sons, and maybe some more. Over the years, we had a great communication with, a great relationship with Robert Miss Kingham. Accountability. There was Coach Bruce, wonderful. He could go out and get them, they believed in it. Pam believed in it, he believed it, the kids believed in it. He spent a lot of time with them. Coach, you did too. And then there's one thing can attest to what we did. It comes from accountability. We can't now, only way that I had a young man came by Friday. I think came by to see me Friday. He's in town for a funeral. And he told me who he was. And I stood up and actually lived with pride and hugged the young man. He's doing well and I'm used to now. He came by and told me how I used to been in work, washing cars and mowing grass and doing things. And you know, I didn't really know who he was until he broke it down and told me. So, but he told us, you have made a man out of it. You have made a man out of it. You have been washing cars, you have been mowing grass, you have been doing everything. You know, and it came from accountability. If some kind of way that we can get hold to them, and I don't know how we gotta have a way to get hold to them and get them up on our arm. We used to have them up on my arm. My son hit up a lot of our we got to have them, get them on our arm again. That's right. Now, how can we get them on our arm again? I don't know. Accountability, because don't see it, don't feel it, get it. So how can and I think it's bad the state got to come in or whoever and hold accountability for what the players are doing. We're willing to work with them, but you got to get them to it. We can't go take them now. We can't go take them. We gotta come up with a way that they got to get them to it. Julius Johnson one time had a youth court going on the youth court that if they act up do things, they had to come before her and had to sit in this court and had to be attending this court. We got to have accountability. We got to have a way to get them. It's bad. We got to do it that way, but we got to do it that way now because it ain't working. We ain't working waiting on them to bring them to us. We got to go get them. Now, how I love being in the meeting to see how that we gonna go get them.
I think the biggest change and maybe the most important mandate that's going to ever come is when this body works and says, your school board members will be elected. And that clears the air. That allows people, even people like myself, to say, I want to run. But I don't want to be in the situation where I feel obligated. You take that seat, you're obligated to those people that placed you there. Same thing with Brother Brown. Right? And I think that says more than anything else. I'm not tired when I come in the room. I'm tied to what I believe is right. I believe that it all starts when you guys finally say, we're going to push this thing and folks going to run and put their credentials on the line. There's a lot of good people that come in here, be on the board. A lot of them got turned down. Some of them didn't come back. So, guys, I still think, and I understand what you're saying. And these kids are not they're not so far gone. They cannot be retrieved. They can't be.
Okay, thank you. Thank all y'all so much for that. Thank you. All right, council consider awarded bid based on the lowest and best quote received for repair of heating, ventilation, and AC, HVAC unit upstairs at City Hall to be delivered. Mark, we got